Everybody thinks Pittsburgh's tech boom only lives in one place, Lawrenceville, East Liberty, the trendy East End lofts that you see all over Instagram. But here's the part almost nobody is talking about. The next big wave is not happening there. It's happening 15 minutes south right along Interstate 79 in two towns most people drive past without a second look, South Fayette and Bridgeville. And if you're searching online for up-and-coming Pittsburgh suburbs, the best South Hills neighborhoods, or where to buy a home before prices jump, you're going to want to stick around, because what is being built out here right now is quietly reshaping property values for the entire South Hills area, and most buyers have no idea it's even coming. Being born and raised in Pittsburgh, I've had a front row seat to watching this corridor transform over the years. What many people don't realize is just how dramatically South Fayette has changed from what it was even a decade or two ago. Used to be farm country, nothing but hills and trees. Hi there, I'm Diane McConaghy with the Pittsburgh Real Estate Diane McConaghy team. I was born and raised right here in the Burgh, and I have spent years helping families relocate, move up, and invest all across western Pennsylvania with a real focus on Allegheny, Washington, Beaver, and Butler counties. I have walked buyers through dozens of South Hills homes, and I have watched this exact corridor go from sleepy farmland and an old chemical plant to one of the most talked about growth spots in the region. So today, I'm going to give you the real story, the opportunity, the home values, and yes, the honest stuff too, like the old coal mines and the traffic. Let's dig in. Here's something that surprises my out-of-town buyers. When they picture Pittsburgh tech, they picture city blocks, robots, and warehouse offices. And that's real, but here's the thing about tech workers. They grow up, they get married, they have kids, and then they go looking for space, good schools, and a driveway. They don't want a loft downtown. One thing that surprises many of my relocation clients is that they expect Pittsburgh's growth to be concentrated downtown. Then I bring them through communities like South Fayette, and then they quickly realize that some of the region's most exciting growth stories are happening in the suburbs. That's exactly where the South Hills comes in. And the bigger economic picture behind this is very real. Pittsburgh has been shifting hard into AI, robotics, and advanced manufacturing, and the investment is following. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, the state has secured more than $31 billion in private sector investment and over 16,000 new jobs since 2023. Sectors like life sciences, robotics, they're fast growing. In the summer of 2025, right here in Pittsburgh, companies announced roughly $90 billion more in pledged AI and energy projects across the state. Now, not everyone pledges and turns into a finished building, and the smart move is to watch what actually breaks ground. But the direction is unmistakable. The momentum is pulling jobs, talent, and home buyers toward our region. And those are not low-paying jobs. According to the Pittsburgh Technology Council and industry, salary trackers pay for local tech roles like software developers and data scientists. They sit comfortably in the $90,000 to $110,000 range, in a metro where the cost of living still sits well below the national average. So you have thousands of well-paid workers, and many of them are looking for that sweet spot, close enough to the action but with room to breathe. South Fayette and Bridgeville sit right in that pocket. You get suburban space, top-rated schools, and easy access to the airport corridor and the city, all without paying East End or coastal prices. That balance is the whole story. Now that you see why people are looking here, let me show you what is actually being built, because this is where it gets exciting. I've actually had the opportunity to list and sell homes in Newbury, and one of the things that buyers and sellers consistently comment on is how much they love the location. You're close to everything that you need, but many of the homes also enjoy beautiful views and a true sense of community. If you've driven the Bridgeville exit off of I-79 over the past few years, you've seen the cranes. That's Newbury Market, and it's a big deal. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and Commercial Property Executive over the years, Newbury is a $450 million 300-acre project built on the site of a former chemical plant near the I-79 and Route 50 interchange. When it's finished, it will hold around 1.2 million square feet of retail, restaurants, hotel, and office space. Having watched this area evolve over the years, it's remarkable to see how much growth has really taken place. What was once an area that many buyers simply drove past has become a destination that people specifically ask me about when they're relocating to Pittsburgh. Let me put that into plain terms. We're talking about 2 office buildings, a courtyard by Marriott Hotel, Giant Eagle, a 99,000 square foot BJ's Wholesale Club. It's awesome. Plus fun anchors like Top Golf and a rock climbing gym. The developers behind it have called Newbury the new heart of the South Hills, and honestly, that's starting to feel accurate. But here's the part that matters the most for home values. Newbury is not just stores, it's also a home plan. The plan includes a town center, single-family houses, townhouses, and a brand new apartment community called Apex Newbury. That opened in the fall of 2020. 2025. In fact, according to 2026 announcement from the Regional Commercial Real Estate Association, the 277-unit community just won an award for the best multifamily project in the entire greater Pittsburgh region. So why does that matter to you? Because when offices, jobs, shopping, dining, and housing all land in the same place, you get something planners dream about. You get a true live, work, play hub, and the homes within a short drive of that hub almost always feel the pull. More demand, more attention, and over time, more value. People want to live near convenience. So the obvious question becomes, what's all this doing to the actual home prices? Let's look at the real data. This is where a good local agent earns their keep, because the two towns do not move the same way, and the online numbers can confuse you if nobody explains them. One thing that I've noticed over the years is that many buyers who start their search in Upper St. Clair or Mount Lebanon eventually ask me about South Fayette. They're often looking for the same strong school experience, but with newer housing options and a little bit more breathing room. Let's start with South Fayette. According to Zillow and Realtor, the typical South Fayette home runs from the mid 300s to the middle of 400s. And depending on whether you're looking at all homes or just the newer single family construction, new builds pull that average up. And there's a clear reason South Fayette holds those higher numbers. Schools. According to Pittsburgh Business Times 2026 guide to southwestern Pennsylvania schools, South Fayette has long ranked among the very top districts in the entire region, trading that #1 spot over the years with names like Upper St. Clair and Mount Lebanon. According to public school rating data, South Fayette students rank in the top 5% statewide. In real estate, a district like that is not a nice extra, it's a price floor. Families pay to get in, and that demand protects your value. I've helped several buyers discover Bridgeville after they've initially overlooked. Once they understood the market better and saw what their money could buy, many were pleasantly surprised by the value. Now, Bridgeville. This is where people get tripped up. According to the Zillow Home Value Index, the typical Bridgeville home value is closer to the 200,000s, but you'll also see single months online showing wild swings, sometimes up and sometimes way down. Here's the honest explanation. Bridgeville is a small borough, so only a handful of homes sell each month. When just a few older, smaller houses close, the monthly average drops hard, and it looks scary even though nothing crashed. The smooth value index is steadier of the two to trust, and the 15017 zip code, which blends older Bridgeville charm and newer South Fayette adjacent new construction, runs higher than the borough core. So don't let one noisy headline number fool you. When you put it all together, the pattern is healthy, not crazy. According to Redfin, home prices across Pennsylvania were up around 5 to 6% year over year heading into 2026, and this corridor is just riding the same steady, sustainable wave, helped along by all the new development. I'm not here to promise you a gold rush or to scare you about a crash. Neither one is true. What is true is that steady demand plus major investment usually means dependable long-term appreciation, and that's the kind of market that smart buyers and investors actually want. So let's circle back to where we started. I told you the real Pittsburgh tech story was quietly moving south, and now you can see it. The jobs, the $450 million Newbury project, the top-tier schools, and home values that are climbing in a steady, healthy way. But we're not done, because there are two things that every smart buyer asks me about this exact area, and the climax of this video is me answering them honestly. The old coal mines under the ground and the traffic on I-79. I'm going to give it to you straight in just a second. But first, if you're even thinking about a move to the South Hills or anywhere in Western Pennsylvania, do yourself a favor. My team and I put together a free Pittsburgh relocation guide. It breaks down the best neighborhoods, the school districts, the cost of living, and the real numbers that you need before you pack a single box. It will save you hours of guessing. Just click the link in the description below. Again, I'm Diane McConaghy, your local Pittsburgh agent, and helping people make confident, well-informed moves is what I do every single day. Okay, now let's get into the real talk. If I had $1 for every relocation buyer who asked me about mine subsidence, I'd probably be retired by now. The reality is that this question comes up all the time, and fortunately, it's something that buyers can research before ever making an offer. Let's tackle the mines first, because a lot of you have asked. Yes, like much of Western Pennsylvania, parts of South Fayette and Bridgeville sit above old abandoned coal mines. According to South Fayette Township's own public information, more than 1 million buildings across Pennsylvania sit atop these old underground mines. That sounds alarming, but here is the part that calms most of my buyers down. This is a known, managed, everyday part of buying here. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, the state offers low-cost mine subsidence insurance, and you can look up any property on the state's mine maps before you ever make an offer. So you're not guessing, you're checking. And here is a nice detail specific to Newbury. That site was a former industrial property that went through a full environmental cleanup before anyone built anything on it. It means that it was studied carefully from the ground up. So the move here is simple. You do your homework, pull the mind map up, grab the inexpensive insurance, and buy it with confidence. A good local agent helps you do exactly that. Because I spend so much time driving buyers throughout the South Hills, I can tell you that accessibility is one of this corridor's biggest strengths. While traffic certainly exists during rush hour, many residents appreciate having quick access to I-79 without dealing with some of the congestion found elsewhere in the region. Now the traffic, because I know South Hills people care deeply about this one. Anytime you add jobs and shopping, you add cars. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Newbury developers built road improvements along I-79, Route 50, and the Washington Pike, including new turn lanes and upgraded synchronized traffic signals. That planning matters and it helps. I'll be honest with you though, rush hour at that interchange can still back up, especially as more of Newbury opens. That's just real life. But here's the good news for this corridor specifically. Living along I-79 in South Fayette gives you a huge advantage. You have fast, accessible routes to the airport, to I-79 business corridor, and toward the city, and a lot of your everyday driving avoids the worst of the Pittsburgh tunnel crunch that folks in other parts of the South Hills deal with every day. Accessibility out here is honestly one of the area's quiet strengths. You feel tucked away, but you're connected to everything. So now that you know the full picture, the good and the honest, let me give you the actual game plan. One lesson that I've learned after hundreds of transactions is that buyers rarely regret purchasing in an area before the growth is complete. They regret usually comes from waiting until everyone else has already discovered it. If you're a buyer, here's my advice. The time to look at a growing area is while it's still growing, not after the ribbon is cut and everyone else has caught on. Right now, you can still find homes in and around this corridor before the next phases of Newbury open and the rest of the country notices. Get pre-approved, pull that mind map, lean into the school district value if you have kids, and be ready to move when the right one comes up, because well-priced South Fayette homes do not sit for long. If you're a seller, this is your moment to shine. Buyers are actively searching in this area and paying attention to the growth story. Price is right, present it well, make sure that your listing actually tells buyers what it's being built nearby, because that future convenience is part of your home's value. Most sellers leave that on the table. Don't be one of them. And if you're an investor, this corridor checks many boxes. You have steady job growth, new apartment demand, a top school district that keeps rental and resale demand strong, and a major development anchoring the whole area. That's the recipe for dependable long-term returns, not a quick flip, but a smart hold. What I love most about this area is that it still feels like a community. Even with all the growth, it hasn't lost the friendly atmosphere that has always made this part of Western Pennsylvania special. Here's the truth. I want to leave you with a home out here is not just a house. It's a front row seat to one of the most exciting growth stories in the Pittsburgh region, in a place with great schools, real space, in a community that still feels like a friendly burg that I grew up in. That combination is rare, and right now you can still get in early. So let's bring it all together. The real Pittsburgh tech wave is moving into the South Hills. The $450 million Newbury market project on I-79 is becoming true live, work, and play hub. South Fayette is anchored by some of the region's best schools, and its home values reflect that strength. Bridgeville offers more attainable prices once you understand the real numbers behind the noisy headlines. The old mines are a known, manageable part of buying here, and smart improvements are easing the I-79 corridor as it grows. Steady demand plus serious investment usually means steady, healthy appreciation, and that's exactly the kind of market that you want to step into. Having helped hundreds of buyers and sellers throughout Western Pennsylvania, including many who purchased before ever visiting in that area in person, I can tell you that choosing the right community is every bit as important as choosing the right house. If this video opened your eyes to what is happening in the south of the city, do me a quick favor and give this video a thumbs up. Then hit subscribe and tap the bell so that you never miss what's coming next for our market. And when you're ready to take the next step, whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring what's possible out there, reach out to me directly. My contact information is right below this video, and I would truly love to help you find the right home in the right neighborhood for the right price for your life. And don't click away yet, because if this tech growth story grabbed you, you have to see where it all really started. Watch my next video right here. Why this tech hub is reshaping Pittsburgh, the Hazelwood Green effect. It's the deep dive that connects everything that you just learned to the bigger picture. I'm Diane McConaghy, your local Pittsburgh real estate relocation guide, and I'll see you in the next one.